Yes, indeed. What up, though? WIP Appeal. We in there. Episode 3 with the GOAT, Myron, Coach Rita, Young Train, Jess. We ready to do it. Indeed, man. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Gucci bandana.
Hey, just chilling, man. I'm good.
As am I, man. It's good to be here with all this melanin in the building. You know what I mean? Things going on.
Train's nickname is going to be the Quiet Storm.
I'll take it.
Chug it.
We've had the chugga. We've heard the choo choo. There was a lot of that.
I'm sure.
There were some misinformed. When you were like 10 and 11, we were playing baseball out in the middle of Pennsylvania somewhere. And someone was like, "Oh, Coletrane, like Roscoe P. Coletrane." I wanted to go over and strangle him. I was like, "You think I would name our child after some goofball? Like no. Dukes of Hazzard, no. Confederate flag, no. No.
But I did like the Dukes of Hazzard. I ain't going to lie to you. I did like the show.
All right, I did too. But we didn't know, It was
right.
Like we were brainwashed. Yeah, man. So let's get into it. The Prime Effect has reached the WIP Appeal. And we saw this video on the interwebs recently of the Woodland Hills kids doing the Shedeur flex, flashing the watch. You know what I'm saying? Can some of our young people explain to me, like, what's that flex about? Like, explain it to an old dude.
It's just, showing the watch, showing him he got it. He was in warm-ups. I forget what game it was, but some dudes was just talking trash to him on the other team during warm-ups. He didn't say nothing. He just went, show the watch.
And what does that mean when you do that?
Was that Oregon?
It's just flexing on them.
It was Oregon.
It's flexing on them. It's just
no, it's a week before that, actually. So it's a flex.
Yeah, it's just a flex. Like,
Must
look
have
at
been
this
called
watch. Like, it's just like you talking, but I got this watch on my wrist. You don't.
I would have said it's a knockoff.
Oh
no!
If it's high school,
can't be the.
No, it's no.
We're talking about
Shedeur
himself.
Shedeur is.
His is real. It's a real deal.
People doing it with nothing on their wrist.
Right.
They just doing it. That's what he did. It's just the effect. Yeah.
So now it's become a thing now. You got all the rappers doing it. You got NBA. You got pros doing it. NFL. Like it's a thing. It's a real thing.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's a reminder that, college sports or sports in general, like whomever the kids that are coming up, those are their immediate role models. Like, I think it's cool to look at the pros, but if you're in high school, your immediate next step is college kids. So of course you want to emulate whatever they do. Of course that's your point of reference for what's cool and what's hot. So I think that says like just how influential Colorado football is right now.
So if one of your players this basketball season hits a bucket on somebody and then gives them this as they go back down court, what's the coaching response going to be?
I'm going to be so flabbergasted and slack jawed. It also depends on how good the play is.
Wait, flabbergasted and slack jawed.
So if the play warrants it, you're like, then you got to get back in your coaching bag. But if it's just on a fan level, you're like, you did just do it wrong. But if it's a layup, all right. Please get back. Please hustle back on defense.
I'm with that. I don't like over celebrating. Like people just do something normal and then they give you the little person flex or this, you gotta. But so your position as a coach is if you deserve the flex, then flex on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But it's gotta be quick though. It's gotta be quick. If you get blown by the next play, then we have a problem.
Flexing. In my opinion, you have those folks on a one-time thing. If you're doing it on a regular, act like you've been there. And it's really not original because Clay did it last year when he pointed to the ring fingers. So it's pretty much the same flex. It's just you're talking about a watch. So
I think it's a different flex, though, because Clay was saying, I got 4 chips to be booked. What do you got, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur was saying, I got 100 on my wrist.
Legit.
What do you got? Like, this is $100,000. So it was more of a I have more money than you type of situation. So, but, I mean, what was, when we were coming up, what was the flex? What did people do, in that?
Point to the scoreboard.
Classic.
That's a good one.
That's still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
You're down 30.
Right.
Yeah.
You still got folks, pointing number one after they score a touchdown and they're down 20. Steelers do it all the time. They're celebrating like they're winning.
Hey, you got to keep hope alive.
Right. And not to kill the Steelers, but Dallas was doing it last week. You made one play, but you're losing by 20. What are you flexing for?
I agree. I definitely agree. So this coach, I sort of dug the Woodland Hills coach, his response to his players. He was like, man, these kids, like, y'all corny, man. Y'all the corny. Like, he sort of like, all right, have your fun, but like, it seemed like he had a real good vibe with them. What was your take, Train, on the coach's response to his players doing the Shedeur?
I thought it was cool because if you in the video, I think the players were like doing it like, look, coach, like so you could tell that there's a good relationship between the two. Whereas if there wasn't, I think they would be doing it and trying not to like get caught or didn't want the coach to see it. So I think it seems like there's a good relationship between that coach and his players to where they could just like joke around like that. I think that's what makes teams good, is having that relationship.
With the coach.
Yeah.
You can relate. You ever have a coach? Wait, Myron, I'm going to just start with this question. Did you ever have a black coach?
I had some black assistant coaches.
So you never had a black head coach?
Nikita Wilson, who played at LSU, was assistant coach one time. Sidney Lowe.
Sidney Lowe.
Yes, was assistant coach.
NCAA champion.
Yes, sir.
Airball turned into an alley-oop. Sidney Lowe.
Yes, he did. Yes, sir.
Oh, no, that was Derek Wittenberg. My fault. He was on the squad.
But Sidney Lowe was on the team.
Sidney
yes.
Lowe, okay.
And Jim Brewer, when I was with the Timberwolves, they were all assistant coaches. So that was my experience with black coaches.
Who was the head coach at the Timberwolves?
Jimmy Rogers was.
Never heard of him.
He was with the Celtics. You never heard of Jimmy Rogers?
I didn't.
He was an assistant coach for the Celtics for years.
Did he play in the league?
Not sure. Wasn't a very good coach, though.
Now we're getting to the theme.
Right.
Maritta, you ever play for a black coach?
Yes, I had some black coaches as an assistant.
No. Head coach.
As a head
black
coach.
Head coach.
AAU. I had the esteemed Jennifer Bruce Scott now as our head coach for AAU coming up. Love her.
One of my dearest friends.
We put her through it that summer, let me tell you. I was an angel, but we put her through it collectively.
So that's the only black head coach you ever played for?
Yes.
Wow, okay. And collectively, you guys play. Coletrane, you ever play for a black coach?
I mean, maybe in like, honestly, a black head coach? I don't think so. Well, who's my coach for like hang time? Who was that? I forget.
Shout to my man Keith Mormon. But that was like
Keith was your coach? So that was football, I hope.
No, it was not. It was a bunch of football players and Coletrane.
Okay.
Shout to Kayvon Mormon. He balled out at Cal U.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he balled out, man.
You know that's Julian grew up with them.
Man, great group of guys, great family. I forgot the other coach's name. Wasn't a lot of hoopers on that squad, though. It wasn't a lot of hoopers on that squad.
Julian was gone by then. We were down in Bridgeville at that point.
Yeah. So that was the last black coach.
Yeah.
Wow. Imagine that. I wonder what's going on in
a
the
good
coaching
golf
world.
buddy of mine.
Yeah. Great dude, great family.
Yes.
Yeah, man, there's not a lot of black people get a chance to be the head coach in the WIP Appeal, in the NBA. Anywhere. Why is that, Myron?
The saying was they didn't think we were smart enough or we had enough talent. We were talented enough to lead the way on the court, on the field, but then you can't do the things supposedly as a coach, which is crazy. It's shameful. And it still goes on today. I mean, you only have a couple black coaches in college, big-time college football. You only have a couple black coaches in the NBA. We can count them. And when the majority of the athletes at this point are black, you should have some more representation. But again, not just because they're black, because they're qualified.
And he sent me the list of all-time winningest college basketball men's coaches. And you have to go a long way down the list to get to a black head coach.
Really?
Yeah.
Coach Chaney?
Coach, bing, ding, 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 ding. Coach Chaney is at number 26. He has 741 wins.
Coach Thompson?
No. Coach Kelvin Sampson is in the top 50.
What about Big House Gaines?
they probably might not have him on there because of Division II.
Okay.
Right? Coach Thompson is 70th
Okay.
all time. But so you've got 2 black coaches in the top 50, 3 if you can, including Kelvin Sampson because he's Native American and
right.
And
I was gonna say after that, it's gonna be tough to start naming the coaches. Let alone
how is
on the list.
Yeah, that's just really wild to me, and that also makes me think of when I look at the women's game. One of the things I love about the WNBA Finals right now is it's 2 women coaching. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you have so many men getting these jobs in the W and in women's college basketball looks like as big or a bigger injustice than black coaches not being permitted to get the opportunity to coach. But you coach with Eddie Benton right now.
I do.
Shout to Eddie Benton.
the second junior.
Yeah, man. So how has that been? What's the vibe like over there, Oakland Catholic, as far as having a black head coach?
I think to go back for a second, I think it's really important when we think about who gets the opportunity. I think we got to talk about systems, right? So Coach Benton is obviously a great basketball mind. He was a great player, had great success at Perry, at Vermont, and then has been able to coach collegiately for the last 25 years before coming to Oakland, right? So the pedigree is proven. But I also think that it's very important to note that Dr. Karen Hall is the AD there, right? So that's a black woman who can maybe appreciate the talent and the value that Coach Benton, Eddie would bring to a staff, to a culture, to a championship effort that maybe you wouldn't have if you don't have that experience in that personal relationship. So it's really about what do the systems look like, and then who's prepared to either bucket or get into a position to also help break it.
UNLV, Karen Hall?
The one and only.
Do it all, Karen Hall.
Yeah, man, I think that the systems is a great point. And there's a system and an institutional structure in place here in Western Pennsylvania that for a lot of reasons has not really afforded black coaches an opportunity. It's harder for black coaches to get a job. And I think that's pretty much a fact. We're going to have to bring some of them on to WIP Appeal and talk to them. I also don't want to put them in a position of hurting their future opportunities. So we ready to take the weight for y'all. We going to say what needs to be said. You know what I'm saying?
Whip it up.
That's right. Whip it up. Yeah. Speaking of black coaches, shout to my man Mike Warfield out of Aliquippa and Coletrane. We have somewhat of an announcement to make, but we have been working on a documentary about the fact that Aliquippa has what, Coletrane?
The most Hall of Famers out of any town on the planet.
That's awesome.
On the planet. Myron, can you name the NFL Hall of Famers from Aliquippa?
I thought we discussed this one time before.
We bringing it back again.
We're bringing
this
it back
is promo,
again,
baby.
So I can probably remember.
Yep. I can help
Tylaw,
you. Bink.
Revis.
Badao.
Buckus.
Close. It's a similar name.
Not Dick Buckus, but
Phrase.
the coach from the Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah, I can't think.
Ditka.
Yep. Tony D, even though he wasn't
Tony Dorsett.
Aliquippa High School. Went to Hopewell.
Lived in.
But he is Aliquippa.
He is Aliquippa.
Absolutely.
Born and bred and raised. So it's an exciting project, How is it? How does that happen? The only other high school that has the most is 2. And so Aliquippa has at least 3 and 4 if you count Hawk. And so it's really a miracle and an amazing testament to that town. And a lot of factors go into it. We're going to get into all that in the documentary Quip that we're currently filming now. Train, how has it been for you to sort of become immersed over there and learn about the community and see how they do what they do as we've been filming, starting the filming for this doc?
Man, it's definitely been interesting to really observe more up close and see what goes on. I was always you always hear about the town. I played against them in high school, in basketball. And that's not even probably their best sport, and they were crazy. The 2 years we played against them, they were like 59-1, something like that. So
Facts.
Yeah, that team was crazy. But it's been really cool to be around the kids and stuff. Obviously filming and shooting, and the people, just like the people in the town. So I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, that was a great run they had. Jasir Jordan, Chucky Humphreys, Kazon Pugh. Sheldon Jeter, hold your head, homeboy. And who was the fifth starter on that team? I can't remember. Sorry to leave you out, but you was representing. That was a tough team. So yeah, man, that's what we working on. Another bit of promo, and then we'll get back to the show.
I love it.
Right.
Lucky Me,
I love it.
the Rich Paul memoir, co-written by your boy, just came out. You might have seen him on 60 Minutes, on The Breakfast Club, on Gayle King, on my man had the media tour of all media tours. Rich Paul's book is special. He's a special dude, and his book stops when he meets LeBron. And everybody thinks that he just got where he got because he's LeBron's friend. This book really shows and proves otherwise. It's a great read, a lot of lessons there for our community, for all communities, how to find business talent in special places. Lucky Me, check it out. Audio book, ebook, book. You know what I'm saying? However you want it, we got it.
I love it.
That's what's up. What are y'all? What are you guys' impressions from afar of Rich Paul and what he's been able to be done? And any questions that you have that I might be able to answer about him?
Rita got questions. I know she do. I can feel it.
You got questions.
No, I mean, when you got the number one player that you're representing in the world for the last 20 years, for the most part, he's in a great position to do for him, his family, the community. So it's nice to see that it wasn't just a piggyback ride. They're truly friends.
Yeah.
Well, I will say is I'm curious about, we talked about representation and systems. So I'm sure I don't know what type of role models he had coming up in this industry, and what were some of those, I mean, clearly I could read the book, but what are some of those lessons or, some pitfalls that he wasn't prepared for in stepping into, an arena that, very few spaces compared to?
That's a great question. And his book is all about how he was prepared for the world of the NBA by his neighborhood. He grew up on the east side of Cleveland, Ohio, in Glenville. Really difficult upbringing, really difficult family structure. But his dad owned a corner store, and his dad was like the rock of the community and imparted all these values and lessons to him every day. And he was out there really running the streets in a major way. And so between that, he learned, all these positive characteristics that we don't always associate with those type of environments: empathy, love, caring for people, integrity, honesty, financial business smarts, and also how to talk to the dice and not crap out in a dice game with 5 figures on the line.
Crap, man.
Yeah, big time. So yeah, man, it's a pretty awesome thing. One thing that I really appreciate about Clutch Sports and what he's doing is that they are really heavy into women's sports. They represent a lot of the best W players. They got Asia Wilson, they got Jewel Lloyd, they got Chelsea Gray. And so, segue alert.
I must say, get ready, get healthy.
Segue alert. Tonight is Game 4 of the WNBA Finals, and by the time you see this, it will have been played. But 2 of the Aces starters are out. Quick recap: they went up 2-0, blowing the Cats out. Went back to New York, lost Game 3 to the New York Liberty, and 2 of their starters got injured. Chelsea Gray got injured. How do you feel about the finals going on right now, Maritta, with the knowledge that, Game 4 will have been played by the time that people read this? But bigger still, can LA still win given the current situation? I'm sorry, Las Vegas still win. Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to prepare yourself to still win, right? There's no one cares about what else is happening or what else is going on. It's, do you want to win the ball game? So I think they're going to prepare like that. I think Asia's been very candid about her desire and drive to repeat. And like anything, you got to dethrone the champ, right? So is that going to be tough to do on the road? Absolutely. Does it hurt not having the point guard in the mix? Yes. Does it hurt having Stokes out? Yes. Does it matter at the end of the day? No. So we'll see. I still like their chances, but New York's obviously not going to lay down. You're not going to get any more 30-point wins over there, I wouldn't say, especially this close to the end. So we'll see. I'm still rooting for them. I think it'll be a good game no matter what.
Yeah, and Vegas only plays like 6, so we're about to see somebody play that we might not even know who they are. It's so tough when you're such a competitor and put your heart and soul into the whole season, and you're right on the brink of a title, you get an injury. Myron, have you ever had to deal with any injuries, that knocked you out of games that you want to play in? How do you deal with that kind of thing?
Well, you see it all the time where you lose a key player, whether it's at the end of a playoff series or at the beginning of a playoff series, you got to have that mindset of next man up. You know, Coach Tomlin's always talking about next man up. You can't sit there and mope and complain and cry about the loss when you still got other professional players that are able to step up and do the job. Now, will they do it at the same level? The hope is you can, but for me, you just got to be prepared, go in, and like Rita said, they're not going to lay down, and she still liked her chances.
Train, you had to experience a pretty serious injury. Have you, what's your view on playing with injuries? If you're in a position where you could come out and try to strap up and be at 50% for one game in the finals, would you do that? Like, how would you approach that?
One game in the finals, I think I would. Just because, like, you're there already, like winning the finals, winning the championship is something that's like you'll never forget your entire life. But I think it just depends on, like, just knowing your body, knowing yourself, knowing if you're going to be actually in a way effective or doing a disservice to your team by being out there on one leg or, so I think it just depends on that, just gauging that. And you also got to take into consideration, like, your health. Like, is this going to be something that if I play on it and I make it worse, now I'm missing 6 months instead of 3? Like, you got to put that into perspective as well. But for the finals, I would say, I probably would if I was in the finals.
But I'd do it for an off night on a Thursday.
I want to play as much as I can.
I want to play, man. Now, me being the least accomplished athlete out of this esteemed group right here, but I do in my, little men's league career have played through injuries when I definitely should not have. Broke my nose in a game, in the first half, came back in the second for no good reason other than just anger and pride. Dropped 44.
Casual, light night.
You got receipts 44. On that?
I do have receipts.
Okay.
Who's my man? Jeff Staple.
Jeff Staple.
Yes, he is the Jeff Staple. He owns the brand Staple, famous for the Staple Pigeon Nike Dunks that caused the riot in New York City. He's on the interwebs. He was there. We were on the same team.
Okay.
And it's documented.
So he's going to vouch for you.
Receipts.
Okay. All right, Jeff.
Certified.
Yeah. Hit him up. Hit him up. We'll add him. We'll add him later because he still brings that up when we see each other. A couple other dumb things that I did that way. For what? Like, what are you trying to prove? But that was just my thing.
Did the concussion come with the nose break or was it just a clean break? Because I think that makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Right. What's the injury?
The nose break, you can break it and, like, all right, now it's crooked, but you can still kind of live your life.
No concussion.
All right.
No
Amen.
concussion.
And we didn't have concussion protocol back then. That was a long time ago.
It was, for sure.
We're going to get on to the length of the time.
Nah, man, we embrace it, right? We embrace it, man. 80s.
Pride and I'm playing. Hurt, broke leg, broke hand. I'm playing.
I mean, you still, you've got a lot of miles on your knees, Myron, and you're what you can do out there is not what you once could, and yet you still play. It hurts. You still play. Why?
Honestly, 3 days a week, these knees are killing me to play. Get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to play, and it's like, why? But I love playing, man. I love competing. Whether I win or lose, it doesn't really matter.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
It doesn't really matter.
That's a lie.
I want to be
win
out
or
there.
Lose.
So if I'm out there, not out there, and my team is winning, that's not fun. I want to be out there. So that's why I still get up so early in the morning to play. But yeah, I want to win in every situation. Absolutely. Now, whether or not I win or lose, that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But I'm out there trying to win. Period.
All right.
And everyone should.
Yeah.
What y'all here for? You keep a score?
Playing to win.
Playing to win.
I play to win everything.
I'm with it. How about you? Are you cool with losing?
No, I'll pass. Thank you.
I ain't out there for the exercise.
Nah, man. I'm trying to win every game. Yeah.
That's facts.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Yes, indeed. So, speaking of winning every game, Kansas men's basketball team ranked number 1, and they basically just got a get out of jail free card from the NCAA for a variety of cheatings, taking players off back before NIL was legal, all kinds of stuff. And Maritta, you brought a terrific book here today. You were like reading my mind that we were going to talk about this. So the book behind me is called The Black Market by Merle Code. Merle Code worked for Nike and Adidas, and he went to prison for following instructions from Adidas to pay a kid who went to Louisville. Yeah. Rick Pitino didn't go to prison. Yeah. Bill Self didn't go to prison. None of these others, Sean Miller, Will Wade didn't go to prison. However, their assistant coaches arrested, felony records, can't vote no more.
Took the fall for them.
Took the fall. And so I did an article about this yesterday for my day job. Shout out to Anscape ESPN.
I love it.
And predictably, the Kansas Jayhawk rock, paper, scissors? Rock, paper, scissors, Jayhawk? That's what they say?
Jayhawk.
Yeah. they all up on me. They all, Aggie. Because I'm just laying out these facts. We got FBI tapes of your coaches talking about figuring out ways to pay for Zion Williamson. He eventually went to Duke, where he received some illegal inducements, not from Coach K himself.
It's not new.
It's not new. Exactly. So why are you upset because I'm talking about it? But it comes back to this thing about, these black coaches took the fall. So somebody emailed me and said, Merle Code, he says it wasn't his fault. That's like a hitman, saying that he was just doing what he was told. I said, that's an interesting mafia analogy to use. So if Merle Code is the hitman, then I guess Bill Self is the Don.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Bill Self is the Don. There's no evidence, so on and so forth. Come on, man. Is the kingpin ever in the room when the deal goes down?
Never.
He's never in the room with the drugs. He's over here collecting the money go over there and do that.
He ain't even collecting the money.
Yeah. So, and now it's legal to pay these players. Right. So what do y'all think about, should these schools be punished for paying players under the table now that it's legal to pay them over the table? Train, what do you think?
That's a good question, honestly. I think that is a good question.
Think about it.
I'm gonna think about it.
Rita, should Kansas be punished for paying players under the table when now it's legal?
I echo Train. I do think it's a good question. I'm curious though, in the sense of the school being punished is one thing. I'm thinking about the lives that have been impacted. You go to jail. That's not anything you roll out the bed. So I'm looking at what are some retribution and some, ways to make things right for some of these individuals, right, whose lives have been altered. Because again, there's been money in college sports for quite a long time. It just looks differently now. So they'll be paying a lot of people. A lot of schools will have to pay, right? But I think on a larger scale, we got to talk about what does it look like to make these people whole. Who got kind of caught up in the whirlwind just before the tide turned. That'd be my thought process on it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you speak of under the table, where's that money coming from? It really shouldn't matter the money or the gifts or the benefits. It's where's it coming from. If you're getting an illegal source of money, that's a problem.
Let's say it's a legal source. It's clean money. It's not like, stolen from a bank or nothing. It's money from Joe Bob, the booster.
So I don't truly see a problem with that, because you figure if you got a player and everyone's getting the same thing, but a booster says, I really like what you've been doing. Here's a couple dollars. Here's this for you. Where is that wrong if it's not illegal money? So a little bit under the table is not a big deal in that situation, in that scenario.
I sort of agree with that. Like, I think that, just there's all types of restrictions in the NCAA world, but there's no restrictions. And if you go to college, I'm sure you get a scholarship because you're smart. And then some person at the school is like, man, we love the research you've been doing, like a booster. And he's like, yeah, here's $100. but
them equations is hitting, bro.
Yeah,
Keep that up,
right? But instead now you can't get like any money at all, like from, or at least in the past you weren't allowed to get any money, and these kids were sitting broke, like wondering where they're gonna eat, and bringing in tens of hundreds of millions of dollars for their schools. Like, I think all that, to me, like, that happening over the years, it's like, all right, like, now it's the athlete's turn to get the money. Like, I don't know why people frown upon student athletes getting paid. Like, they're bringing in all this. They're bringing in all this. They're making all this money for the school. Like, why can't they get some money?
Well, I think just now folks are getting an understanding of how much money is in college sports, right? So I think for a long time, the casual fan might see somebody out there on a Friday getting buckets, but you just think it's Joey from physics. You don't really know what went into this young man or this young woman getting to the court on any given day or whatever neighborhood they came from to get there. So I think now with the popularity of certain college athletes, obviously podcasts have popped up left and right. I think the casual fan has a lot of better understanding. So maybe there's a little bit more empathy there to what goes into 20 hours a week of work, right?
Yeah. 20 hours.
20
Put them
hours
quotes
is
up.
crazy.
And every school had those violations.
Yeah,
I mean,
what was going on up at the Rock, bro?
even if it was a simple thing such as each player gets 2 pair of shoes, whereas your top player might get 3 pair of shoes. So
That's it? That's all they gave you was 3
that's
pair of
all
shoes?
I got at the Rock was shoes.
That's all?
I got shoes whenever I wanted,
Really?
and I'd take shoes and then trade them in and get the shoes that I
okay.
wanted.
There we go. Trade them in.
Yeah, trade them in. I had a hookup at
Black
Foot Locker.
market. Black
There
market.
you
I
go.
love it.
Trade them
market.
in. Sell a couple on campus.
Yo, speaking of all this coaching shenanigans and investigation there is a WIP Appeal connection because the WIP Appeal great Sean Miller was the coach at Arizona when the whole FBI investigation went down, and his assistant coach Book Richardson was one of those who went to prison for taking money, for buying a transcript. There was a player who was ineligible, and it took 1, 2, 3 tries for them to get a transcript for him that had a fake grade on it from a school that he didn't attend. He got eligible. They won about 60 games in 2 years, and then he dipped. And Book is the one who supposedly all on his own, with no direction or knowledge from anyone else at the University of Arizona, not the head coach, Sean Miller, not the AD, not compliance, nobody, just took it upon himself to go come up with this
Idea.
30 stacks. And he went to prison.
Right.
And Sean Miller was eventually let go by the University of Arizona. He coached for another 2-3 years at $2-3 million a year, and was promptly
Hired
snapped up
again.
at Xavier. Yes, where he now is coaching and chilling.
Which is where he was before. So
that, I'm just giving you the facts, not making any insinuations or allegations yet. Those are the facts of the Arizona and the WIP Appeal connection to the FBI investigation of corruption in college basketball. Dun, 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 dun.
done.
So, moving on. WIP Appeal, we back at you. And we not letting these bad refs off the hook. Myron, what's your problem with these refs?
I think, one, they're trying to have, not trying intentionally, but they're having too big of an impact on outcomes of games. There was a couple games in the NFL this week that were questionable calls that should have been overturned by the replay, and they weren't. And it has a bigger impact than just that outcome, because you have gambling ramifications. So somebody who's relying on that field goal or extra point where you called a hold, now they're out of field goal range, cost somebody a lot of money. As minute as that is,
bro.
Absolutely. But when a call that should have been reversed affects someone in that way, you kind of feel for that person that lost money because of a bad call, because of an official.
Yeah, but it's always been like that, though.
But they get away with calls, and players get punished for missing calls or missing plays. So they're not punished properly, in my opinion.
I think that in the same way that players get fined, like if there's a play, they make a bad call, it affects the outcome of the game. You know how the NBA has like an account, and they'll say after the fact, like, we acknowledge that he was out of bounds, like whatever, and they missed the call, they should get fined. The ref should get fined, because you play the game by the rules. That's how it's supposed to be played. If someone gets away with breaking a rule or doing something and they miss a call and it affects the entire game, like, who's
accountable?
Who's being held accountable? The refs aren't, because they're not. They just say after the fact, "Oh yeah, we missed this. Sorry. Good luck next time, buddy."
Right.
I don't know if that's their viewpoint on it, but I think accountability is important. But I had the chance to meet a couple of refs over this last couple of months. Ref Mark Lindsay, I met through the PNBL Treasure Beach camp down in Jamaica. Shout out to Mark Lindsay and the whole team over there. And then Carlina Tobin is a ref in the W, as well as did some G League refing. And I think what I took from listening to them is that, one, there's not a whole lot of people actively getting into reffing, I think, on any sport. So I think that if we're looking to charge in refs, or you can hold them accountable, but it's a very delicate balance when the fact that there's not enough of them to go around already. So at that point, that puts more barriers in there, and then it's only going to go downhill from there. People just trying to chase the buck or whatever the case may be. So do we want to hold them accountable? Absolutely. Do we want them to have too much impact in the game? No. But I think if we're hiring the right people who see it as a craft and as a role and as a career that they value, then I think we could get some better outcomes. But if we're just picking up Joe Blob off the street, then yeah, we're going to have some games that look a little dicey.
I wouldn't blame people for not wanting to ref. You got these videos on the internet of refs getting swung on and shot at and all this kind of stuff. Did you see the brawl between the ref and the coach on the internet like a couple months ago? It was wild. Yeah. And another thing, I got kids that just finished middle school. Is it just me, or is the average age of the middle school basketball ref
106?
106.
They're not qualified. Out of shape, can't run up and down the court. They're standing at three-quarter court trying to make a call all the way at that baseline.
It's wild. Yeah. But to me, that says that's like an entry point, so no young people are coming into reffing. Right.
Bad quality ref stuff.
But as players, how many of us have been itching to get into them stripes? Well, go ahead, raise your hand.
Not I, because you're always wrong.
Actually, I saw one game and I was so upset that I wrote into it and got me the rule book. I'm going to take the test. I'm going to be out there blowing the whistle on these fools.
Okay.
After I finish busting up Myron's pickup game, when I can't do that no more.
Always talk about busting up something. I got
I
receipts.
be busting it up.
I be busting it up.
I be busting.
I have facts.
Oh, man. Okay.
How
many wins did I get the last time I came down there?
Because you played on my team.
Wow.
You was on the sideline with an ice bag on your neck.
It's my team.
With
my son, it's my
team. Your son is nice. Julian is nice. He could play. Anyway, so what's your solution to this ref problem, though? These are the best refs in the world. What are you going to do? Coletrane said fine them. You want to fine them? You want to replace them? What
you don't
want
to replace them. They just need to be better and be held accountable to the fullest. Because think about this. A ref makes a call, and it's the wrong call. And the guy gets upset. He gets a technical. But now he's ejected from the game. Impact on the game. 3 hours later, they review. They say, we missed the call. We made a mistake. The guy's out of money. The ref didn't get anything but a slap on the wrist that, we did miss the call. Your team lost. Sorry.
Here's a quick story for you.
But I lost $25,000.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
For the tech.
Here's a quick story about refs. I was helping Coach John Thompson from Georgetown University write his book, and I was reading these articles for research, and it had a story about a game where after the game, the article said Coach Thompson was upset with the officiating and followed the refs into the dressing room. So I went and saw Coach Thompson next time. I was like, Coach, you followed the refs into the dressing room? Now, the backstory is that he said that black refs during the 70s and 80s when he was first getting started called his games harder because the black refs didn't want to seem like they were giving the brother a break.
Beneficial calls.
So he said every time I saw a black ref, I was like, oh, man, here we go again. I know I'm not going to get no calls this game.
And that's messed up.
So it is messed up. Like, they got us all twisted up. So Coach Thompson said he followed the black ref he said, yeah, I followed that ref into the dressing room, and I called him a handkerchief head nigger. And yo, that is a quote. It's in the book. I was like, yo, are you? So, Coach Thompson, rest in peace. We love you for holding it down.
Calling it how it is.
How it is.
Wow.
I need that on a t-shirt, to be honest.
With the sample. All right, let's get back to Coletrane. You got a lot of editing to do this time. All right. Now we about to wrap it up once again. Episode 3, WIP Appeal. I love it. What you on? You know what I'm saying? I'm on this upcoming NBA season and college basketball season. It's finally here. That's what we're really here for. Wembanyama looks like he could actually play. He looks like he's going to be a legit threat in the league. You got my man Jrue Holiday, who got done wrong over playing with a frown on his face for the Celtics. You got Dame with a smile on his face, and Jrue's spot for the Bucks. That's what I'm on. NBA season coming up. Coletrane, what you on?
Man, I'm on the same thing. I'm excited for basketball season, college, NBA. You know, I'm chilling. I could, you know, for the first time in a long time, I could just I'm not participating actively in basketball season, so I could just watch the games, really take it in. So yeah,
Congratulations,
I'm
man.
looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Kick back with your feet up.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I love it. Shout out to being a fan. I won DePaul women's basketball, college basketball, playing outdoors in front of 55,000, I think it was. I think that says great things about the growth of women's games. I think it gives little girls something to look forward to. And I think as we continue to see the growth of women's sports at all levels, that it's just going to continue to reverberate. So I'm interested to see how that translates into the college season this year.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark. I can't wait to see her get her groove on this season. That's going to be awesome.
I'm on shining a little bit of light on a couple of my friends. Since we have this platform, I can give a shout out to a couple people. Ashley Battle, who is she's a scout for the Celtics, and she's assistant GM for the G League team, the main team. Want to shout her out because I got some shoes just the other day right there on the back channel from Ash. Woo. My hookup. Woo. The second person I want to shout out is Sean Gibson, a friend of mine I grew up with. He's the executive director of the Josh Gibson Foundation, doing a lot of good things in the community for the youth.
Great guy.
Third one, Tori Rollins, associate athletic director at Slippery Rock. Just doing good things, and I want to just shout them out because they're good to me, good friends. And last is Robbie Pridgeon. He's assistant coach over at Akron University. So just wanted to shout those guys out because they're doing good things for basketball and youth in our area.
That's amazing. I love it. Thank you, Myron. WIP Appeal, episode 3.
We're in.
Peace.